Good morning and welcome to another pre-market review session with the Market Trader. My name is Ray, the Market Trader, and before we can get started, let's take a look at our risk disclosure. Just want to remind one that the content that's being published and distributed by the Market Trader and its affiliates is to be treated as general information only. None of the information provided by the company or contained herein is intended as investment advice and offer to buy, sell, recommend, endorse, sponsor any security, company, or fund. We all understand that futures carries a fair amount of risk, and it's not for every investor. An investor could potentially lose all or more of their investment capital. Only risk capital money that can be otherwise lost without jeopardizing one's financial security should be used for trading, and only those individuals with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Nothing, again, contained herein is a solicitation or an offer to buy, sell futures, options, or forex, and past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Okay, so we're going to go ahead now and open up our news portal and see what we have in the way of news that could potentially impact the markets. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do that. So go ahead and shift gears here a little bit. We're going to shift over to our financial portal. Okay, so there we are. You can see that let's see, we have US Philly Fed Business Index reporting. We have Trump, I guess potentially something coming out of the Trump national security meeting. A lot of geopolitical possibilities coming out of certainly right now on Iran. And then we have the monthly OPEX, which probably won't have a direct impact. And I believe today we have triple witching. Okay, so that's also could impact us as well in the markets. Okay, so now that we have kind of a feel for the news, let's go ahead and begin to take a look at our markets here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start in with okay, let's bring this back up. There you go. All right, I'm going to bring this back down here. Okay, so we'll go ahead and start in with the gold market. I have the gold market on my charts. We're going to go ahead and start with the daily chart here and get a sense for what the market has been trying to accomplish of late. And I would say that of late, looking at the more recent set of candles, the market has been trying to head lower. Okay, we are in a larger kind of consolidation pattern in this market. We have not been able to breach above 35.10, and we've obviously we found some support here at 31.74. So at the moment, the market seems to content to remain inside this range. Okay, and of late, we've seen some bearish price action to the downside. Okay, so we're going to go ahead now and move on to the 4-hour chart and take a look at the 4-hour chart here. Okay, again, you can go ahead and remove some of our drawings here. And you can see that price remains in this kind of bearish swing. Okay, we are coming into an area where we could find some support. Okay, here I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of volume analysis here to find which price point is offering the most in the way of transactions. So we're going to go ahead and do this here before we start to see a significant push here. And I'm going to go ahead and extend this VPOC or point of control here to kind of identify where in that area we should find some support. Okay, so let's color that in green. Okay, so this area here around 33.49, 33.49.4 does appear to be an area of maybe some prior support that could lead to finding some buyers in this market. Okay, so again, similar to what we were seeing on the daily chart, we're seeing a little bit of more visibility as to some of these candles that are developing. The market does appear to be a bit bearish at the moment. So like the daily, the 4-hour is also indicating bearish sentiment. Moving on to the 30-minute chart. Okay, looking at the 30-minute chart, we're going to do again some volume analysis, but you can see here, if we go from left to right, the price is moving in an organized fashion to the downside. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and open up our fixed range volume profile here to identify. Probably going to do something that includes both. Well, let's do Thursday here. And then actually today is Thursday. All right, no, today is Friday. We're going to go ahead and just focus in on Thursday's session. Okay. But we might be better served in including Wednesday as well, because Thursday was a rather short session here. Okay. So let's see here if we can identify Thursday. Okay. Okay, right about there. Going to drag that to the close of Thursday, which was a shorter day. Right about there. Okay. So you can see that price is below value from Thursday, indicating that there remains a fair amount of interest in this market to the downside. We're going to go ahead and add our ASR levels. You can see that we've reached, let's see, what level is this from? Let's go ahead and open up to London because New York hasn't officially opened just yet. So let's see if we can. Okay, so London, we are kind of in the middle of the range. All right. Let's go ahead now and open up our initial balance. Okay, there's our initial balance. Okay. And we'll go ahead and open up our anchored VWAP. Okay, for London. All right, there's our anchored VWAP for London, and then we'll have our standard VWAP here. Let's see right here. Okay. So there's our standard VWAP. So we can see, right, without much, everything that we look at right now with respect to identifying sentiment is indicating that price is looking to go lower in this market. Okay, price is below value. Price is below our volume weighted average price. Price is below our anchored VWAP. Okay. So everything is pointing to continued downside. Now, with that said, looks like we may be in the midst of potentially developing a little bit. We have not made a new low. Okay. Looks like we are maybe coming into an area where we maybe have found some support. So I'm gonna go back and take a look at the 4-hour chart and identify what this area might entail. And you can see here that we've come into kind of the high end of value, okay, for overnight starting the week. Okay, so it appears that we've retraced all the price action to the upside, and now we're back where we started the week in trading. Okay. So this area right here does appear to be an area that we could find some supportive action. And it does stand to reason that we are starting to receive some indications that maybe we are developing a little bit of a double bottom here. Okay. In any case, probably not really keen on participating necessarily in a downside opportunity at these current levels. Okay. Basically, the reason for that is that I feel like I am paying a bit of a premium. Okay. A premium on participating here to the downside. Now, if I do get some evidence that they have the participants to drive price lower, okay, then I can wait for this price action to leave this initial balance range, and then I can use the bottom of the initial balance range to offer me an opportunity to the downside. Okay, so it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see how this current candle closes, whether it establishes a new low or begins to hold at these levels. Okay, because if I am a seller, I would like to sell strength. So somewhere in this range here at 33.71. Okay, possibly as high as this level here at 33.77. Okay, these are a couple of areas that I would, if I'm going to be a seller, that's what I would like to be a seller from. Okay, it allows me to manage my risk. I secure a short trade without having to pay a premium. Okay. So that's kind of my current view. Like I said, I think across the board we are seeing some bearish price action in the gold market. We are coming into areas where we could see maybe a potential reversal in price here. Okay, so we have to, I guess, wait for some more information from the markets. Let's get a sense for which direction the price leaves this balance area. And if it does leave to the downside, well, we have a good target here in ASR here at 3341.6, okay, for a target for a downside move in the market, okay? We also have a supportive area down below here at 3349. That was something that we arrived at as it's a kind of a point of control from, I think, a 4-hour chart. So we have a couple of targets for maybe a potential bearish trade. Okay, but what we are seeing is that we're starting to see a little bit of a buying wick. Okay, there is some interest here at the current levels. The question is when the next 3 minutes or so, is this candle going to close with some strength to the downside, or are the buyers are beginning to maybe secure a foothold here and potentially keep the market from heading lower? Okay. So that's kind of what I have for the gold market. We're going to go ahead and move on into the crude oil market here. Okay, I'm going to take a sip of my tea here. Okay, and then we'll move on to the crude market. Okay, all right. Looking at the crude, we're going to go ahead again. Similarly, we're going to open up the daily chart. And we're gonna try to gauge, kind of what direction is the market looking to go. We're gonna go ahead and remove some of our drawings, kind of a fresh chart here. Okay, so if we are just to focus in on the most recent set of candles here, okay, you can see that the market is trying to head higher. Okay, just looking at the most recent set of candles, you can see that the market is looking to move higher here. Okay. Now, of late, we've been in some sort of consolidation area, okay? And I'm looking here to the left to see maybe if it provides me some indication of that, why that would be, okay? So it is coming into an area of prior areas of maybe that we've had congestion. So it stands to reason that maybe price is having a little bit of difficulty in continuing its advance to the upside, okay? So nonetheless, it does appear that the market is, I would say, bullish to maybe neutral. Okay. We are in the midst of a bullish swing. We have broken some structure here to the upside. We are currently seeing a little bit of selling. Okay. With the selling wick here above us. Okay. So that's something to make note of. So we're going to go ahead now and move on to the 4-hour chart. Okay. 4-hour chart. We're going to take a look at the 4-hour chart. And again, you can see that we get some more visibility. We're going to turn off initial balance here for a moment. You can see that we are in some sort of consolidation pattern here. We've got kind of identified an area there of some resistance. I was kind of looking to open up the trend line tool, just kind of draw in the fact that we are in some sort of consolidation pattern at the moment. Okay. We're seeing, reaction on both ends. Okay. Going to maybe increase this a tad here and just encompass the bodies here. All right. Well, something along those lines, maybe bring this up a bit. Okay. And on the bottom, we just kind of get maybe a closer. Okay. So you can see here that we've gotten some reaction above, right, away from this price. So we're kind of in a consolidation pattern. Really, the market currently not really providing us anything in the way of direction. Okay. All we have is the fact that we are in the midst of making higher prices. Okay. Higher highs and higher lows. Okay. But we've kind of come into an area of consolidation. Okay. Moving into the 30-minute chart. Okay, so the market is about to open. We've reached the ASR area below, and we're kind of reacting away from it here from 72.64. We're starting to see some reaction away from this level. Price is still below our VWAP. We're going to go ahead and open up our fixed range volume profile here. Okay, so we're going to take a look at Thursday's session, which I understand was an abbreviated session, but we're going to look at it nonetheless. Okay, so there it is. There's our abbreviated crude oil session. And again, you can see, similar to the gold market, that we had price is currently below, okay, our value, indicating that we do have some folks that are willing to pay a premium to be part of this market. Okay. We're going to go ahead now and add our anchored VWAP to this discussion. We're going to locate the start of London, which is right about here. And you can see that price is below value there as well. Okay. So right now, similar to the gold market, we are getting some indications that we are in some sort of bearish, kind of trend. We are in an area of where we are seeing some supportive action here, right? So every time we've come down to 73, we've reacted away from it, and we're in the midst of that again. So the question is, are we going to exhaust the buyers here? Okay, so we had some buyers step in, drive price higher, went on for a bit, drove right back to that 73 level. Buyers stepped in, and now we're right back at that level again. So the question is, are we going to continue to see buyers stepping into this market? Okay, we could very well be in the midst of maybe another swing to the downside. I don't know if it's the level to this magnitude, but certainly that's not out of the realm of possibilities. Okay. So let's go ahead now and take a look. Oh, actually, that is 30 minutes. Let's go ahead and open up the initial balance range now that we've kind of see here if I can locate initial balance. There it is. Okay, so that's for the London session. We're going to go ahead and open this up to the day session here. Okay, so the market just opened, is just starting to develop this initial balance range. Again, right now we are in what appears to be in some sort of consolidation range, right? So not really understanding which direction they want to take this market, right? Very tight range. Certainly, as long as we remain in this range, buying 73 and selling 74, certainly is in the realm of possibilities here. Market does appear to have some momentum to the downside. We're back at a level here that has been supportive in the past. So for me, I'm gonna be patient. I'm gonna wait for. Let's go ahead and open up the visible range volume profile here. So we're on the lower end of value here from the visible range. Again, it says 73 level has been an area of support. So the question is, are we building up support here to develop another leg to the upside? Or do we have the volume or the participants to drive price lower? Okay. 73, I would say, is going to be a significant level. So for me, I would like to see price push below 73, retest 73, hold, right, and then maybe participate in a further downside move in this market. Otherwise, if 73 does manage to hold and break some structure here above, if it breaks above my anchor VWAP and breaks above my initial balance, then maybe I'm in for another leg higher. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm seeing right now. I would say that I'm probably bearish to neutral in the crude oil market. I do understand that I am in an area that has been supportive in the past. The question remains, now this is the third attempt. The question remains whether this is going to be an area that remains supportive. Do buyers have enough participants to dissuade the sellers? Okay, that's kind of what we're trying to understand at the moment. Okay, all right. Again, another here before we move on to the Nasdaq. All right, moving on to the Nasdaq. Okay, Nasdaq appears to be in some sort of bullish pattern here. Okay, so looking at this on the daily, you can see that we continue to drive price higher. Okay, we've started to see a little bit, maybe a little bit of a slowdown in the advance, but nonetheless, on the daily chart, it does appear that we are in some sort of bullish move. Okay, moving on to the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart, again, we're going to go ahead and turn off initial balance since we're still a ways away from the initial balance or market opening. Okay, so you can see here that price came down to a level here around 21,640. Say maybe more like, yeah, 21,640, responded away from it. And we really have not looked back ever since. We've left a little bit of a gap here. Okay, left a little bit of a gap here. Okay, so, okay, indicating that there's people, again, were willing to pay a premium to be part of this market. Okay, so this area below here around 21,736 or 740. Okay, does appear to be somewhat of a supportive area. Okay, the market of late, I guess, on this chart has been a bit in consolidation. Right, but we have this swing, right? We have this swing indicating, right? This swing we've retraced back, have not made a new low before we found buyers willing to take this higher again. Okay, so the market does appear to me in some sort of bullish sentiment here. We have price that's above our VWAP. I'm going to go ahead and open up our anchor VWAP here for London. Okay, so London is right about, actually going to move on to the 30-minute chart. We'll do that. Move on to the 30 minutes. Okay, so we've already, looks like we've already reached the upper end of our ASR levels here for London. Okay, so we've already kind of exhausted the statistically upper swing for London. Okay, so let's see. We're going to move this over one. Okay, so you can see that price is well above value for all levels here. Okay, the only thing I'm going to add here now is the fixed range volume profile. Okay, I want to get a sense of where price is in relation to yesterday's value area. Okay, right about here. We'll drag that across to the close of the market, which was here. Okay, so you can see, right, we're well above value, right? So a lot of bullish action or bullish price action in the markets at the moment. Okay, so yeah, headed into the session. Okay, we understand that we are in some bullish price action. We are coming into a level here at, again, 22,000. Kind of has reared We are above 22,000. We have 22,050 above us that could be resistant to price. It has been in the past. Okay. So the question is, are we going to see sellers step in at this 22,000, let's say 50, well, I'm going to actually say more like 80, 22,080. Okay. Our sellers going to begin to step in this market at this level. Okay. We are, quite a ways away. All right. From value. Okay. So it stands to reason that we could see maybe a little bit of a pullback. Okay, either to the top end of this range, right, that we broke earlier, this 21,940 level. Okay, that was an area of prior resistance. We're going to go ahead and mark as supportive now. Okay, so if I'm a buyer, okay, I'd like to wait for price to come back to that level before I participate to the upside. Again, I don't want to necessarily buy at the highs. I'd like to see if I can participate in this market in an area where I can better manage my risk. Okay. So again, that's kind of what I see in the Nasdaq. It does appear that as we are heading into the session, that we are heading into a very rather bullish market, and that I should be looking for some bullish opportunities. Okay. So again, I'm going to wait for my initial balance once the market opens here, and then decide from there as to what direction I want to take it. Now, I do understand that I am coming into some areas where I have found some sellers in the past, so it would stand to reason that we do pull back here a bit before we make maybe potentially our next leg higher. Okay. All right. Moving on, we're going to go ahead now and take a look at the ES. Okay, so looking at the ES here. Okay, looking at the ES, we're going to go ahead and start with our daily chart here. Okay, looking at the daily. Again, similar to what we were seeing in the Nasdaq, you can see that we are in a market that appears to be quite bullish. Okay, we continue to make higher highs and higher lows. We remain inside this bullish channel that I've drawn here on the daily. Okay, indicating that we still have a fair amount of interest here to the upside. Okay, you're welcome, Frizu. So we're coming in on some areas here that we could find some resistance. The 6150 level has been an area that has been resistant in the past. So we'll have to wait and see over the course of the next few days, potentially, to see if this level is going to continue to remain resistant. Okay. Right now, what I see is that we have a market that is quite bullish. Okay. Right. We remain in this bullish channel, and we haven't really broken any structure here to the downside. We have made attempts. Right. We have made attempts to see if we have some interest here to the downside move, but each downside move has been met with buyers. Okay. Looking at the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart, again, we're seeing more of the same here. Okay. You can see that I'm going to go ahead and let's see. I'm going to certainly remove this older VWAP that I've drawn here. I don't think it reflects. Yeah, this reflects. So I'm going to shift this over here a little bit to Thursday. Okay. All right. So you can see that price remains above value, above our VWAPs. Okay, for both London and our standard VWAP. Okay. We're going to go ahead and open up our 30-minute chart. Okay, 30-minute chart. Okay, you can see that we've already reached some statistical areas here to the upside. Okay, so we're above 60.52.50. Okay, 62.52.50, and we have our ASR. This is ASR for London now. Okay, this is ASR, average session range for London. We've already exceeded that range. Okay, indicating that we are in a very strong upside auction. Okay, we are in a strong upside auction. Okay, All right, let's go ahead and open up our fixed range volume profile. I think that should basically tell us the same, but we will validate that. Okay, so we're going to locate the start of Thursday back here all the way to the close of Thursday, which was here. Okay, so you can see, right? You can see that we are well above value. Okay, now if we, just out of curiosity, if we go ahead and extend this to include, since Thursday was an abbreviated session, I'm kind of curious if I include Wednesday, whether we remain, and it does appear so. Here, let's do this here. I'm going to go to locate the start of Wednesday here. Since yesterday was an abbreviated session, I'm kind of interested in understanding Wednesday. Okay, so looking at it from Wednesday's point of view, okay, Wednesday's point of view, we are still we are just in value. Okay, so if I incorporate Wednesday, then we are just back inside value from Wednesday's price action. Okay, all right. So we're about maybe 15 minutes or so away from the open of the markets. And as we head into the market, I would say that we are in a market that has a lot of overnight buyers. We are well above our VWAP at anchored VWAP. So again, it does stand to reason that at some point, whether it's today or in the near future, that we will come back to retest this VWAP. Okay, and that could offer us a nice opportunity, okay, to participate in a potential move to the upside. Okay, I'm just kind of extending this VWAP line in its current direction. This could be an area down by let's say 6,050, somewhere in that range. Okay, this could be a logical area to participate in an upside move in this market. Okay, so headed into the session, similar to the NASDAQ, I would say that the market is bullish and that we should be looking for bullish opportunities. I do see that we have some levels above us that could cause price to stall a bit. We have our value area high here at 6,070. Okay, we have a point of control that we're pretty much at from Wednesday. Okay, and yeah, so we are coming into some areas that could provide some resistance, and ultimately we have the 6,100 level that has been resistance in the past. Okay, so again, headed into the market, I would say market is bullish, and that we need to wait to be patient and wait for opportunities to participate in this market. Okay, looking at the last market of the day, and that's going to be the Dow. Okay, we're going to take a look at the Dow here, and again, we're going to go ahead and open up the daily chart. Okay, get a sense for what the daily chart is telling us. Okay, now on the daily chart, you can see that we are responding off this demand zone that I drew here around the 42,000 level. We are responding away from it in a bullish fashion. We have a wick below. Okay, in a market that's otherwise appears to be bullish. Okay, we have been of late maybe a little bit of in a consolidation pattern, but bullish nonetheless, right? We haven't made any significant. We made some attempts here to head lower, but for now have all been met with additional buying. Okay, moving on to the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart, we have again responding off of this 42,000 level. When looking at this on the 30-minute side, you can see that we've been kind of ranging up at the highs here. Of late. All right, we have 43,000 here up on the upside as resistant, and then we have this 42,000 level below as support. Okay, so on the 4-hour chart, you can see that we have been in a little bit of a consolidation pattern, a little bit of price range, not really providing us much in the way of indications on exactly direction. I would say the direction of late has been a bit more bullish. Okay, looking at the 30-minute chart. Okay, this is where we're going to do a little bit of volume analysis here. We're gonna forego Thursday because of this, and we're just going to go ahead and maybe include just Wednesday's price action here. This is Tuesday, so we're going to go ahead and open up a fixed range volume profile for Wednesday. here. Okay, just that since that was our last full session, I'm going to go ahead and do that to the close. Okay, there it is. Okay, so you can see, similar to what we saw in the ES, we are in an area of value. Okay, we are rapidly coming into the high end of value. All right, so right about this range here. Okay, so coming into the high end of value here at 42,715 from Wednesday. Okay, we do have some areas here that we've identified as potentially resistant. Okay, but nonetheless, the market does remain quite bullish. All right, I'm going to go ahead and remove this anchored VWAP and see if I can draw an anchored VWAP that's more closer to the time frame here. I'm going to locate London here. Okay, so this is London price. Okay, you can see, similar to what we saw across all the equities, price remains above our anchored and our daily VWAP, indicating that we are seeing a fair amount of bullish price action in this market. Okay, so I would say across the board on the equities, as we head into the New York session do appear to be a bit on the bullish side. And that we should probably look for opportunities in that direction. Okay, so as I mentioned in on the ES and the Nasdaq, I'm going to be waiting for price to come back to maybe the anchored VWAP, or maybe as low as the daily VWAP for opportunities. I'm going to wait for the initial balance range to establish, and maybe let price tell me which direction they want to take it. The market. I do also understand that I am coming into some areas that could be resistant to price. So I have to be a little bit cautious that I'm entering in an, if I'm going to be bullish, I need to enter in an area where I can better manage my risk. I can't at the current levels really manage my risk all that well. Okay. We are moving higher, and if we are going to participate on the bullish side, we're at the moment paying a little bit of a premium in order to be a participant of that move. Okay, so let's go ahead and just summarize all these markets. Let's take one last peek on the 30-minute chart across all these markets. So as we mentioned, looks like gold is developing a little bit of a double bottom here that could lead to additional price move to the upside here. Okay, so we have our initial balance that's about to be established here. So we have a bullish engulfing candle, okay, that's being developed here. We are about 9 minutes away from this candle closing and establishing the initial balance range. So right now, it does appear that maybe we are in the midst of maybe a potential reversal in gold, okay, to the upside. We do obviously have to an area that maybe is going to present some challenge here at 33.72. And obviously, in order to really embrace the bullish behavior that we're seeing, we really need to get above 33.77. Okay, 33.77, 33.80. That would kind of maybe begin to change the character of this market from a market that's been bearish to a market that's starting to look a little bit more bullish. Okay, so yeah, so market seems to be moving potentially, I'd say, from a market that's been neutral of late to a market that maybe is looking to break to the upside. All right. Crude oil. All right. Crude oil, I would say, is somewhat similar, but lacking the conviction and strength. Okay. This does feel like there's still a fair amount of interest to the bearish side. Okay. The candles that we are seeing are not overly strong. We're seeing equal participation based on the wicks on both the on the sell and the buy side. Right now, if I had to pick a direction, I would say, barring the fact that we saw this buying come in here, the buyers have not really been able to take the market too much further. So I would say that the crude oil market does appear to be somewhat bearish. Okay, to the downside. Okay. If this starts to firm up and we break up, maybe break above this 74 level, then maybe I change my view on this. But right now, outside of the fact that we are seeing, some buying coming in at these levels, the candles are really not screaming that this is an area that you want to participate. Okay, so again, I'm going to be patient. I'm going to wait for the market participants to decide which direction they want to take the markets, and then proceed accordingly. Okay. And then ultimately, the last market that I'm going to take a look at, and we'll let the NASDAQ kind of be the spokesperson for the equities, but the equities are kind of in this kind of vertical price action to the upside. Okay. Now, whether this is sustained, it can be sustained as we open the session, we'll have to wait and see. Okay. But we are inheriting a market, at least during the overnight, that is quite bullish on the equities across the board. Okay. We are breaking above and not really showing any signs of weakness as we break some statistical levels, such as average session range. Okay, for London has been broken and really not showing any signs of weakness here. Okay, so again, I would say that looking at all the markets, to summarize, I would say that the gold market is maybe moving from a neutral to potential short-term bullish. Crude oil, I would say, continues to show some weakness. And then the last market here, the equity markets, I think we're coming into a market that is looking quite bullish. Okay. And we'll have to see if that's going to continue to sustain over the course of the session today. All right. So with that said, we'll pause here to see if there's any sort of questions about anything that I've said. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and close this session. Okay. Close this session like we close most sessions. Trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. All right, guys, have an excellent day of trading, and we'll talk again quite soon.